Hello, and thank you for joining us at the movement. We are the movement. I'm Anita Faye Wilson, and this is my partner, Annette L. Anderson. We're the movement. We're a motivational organization geared to educate minds, empower, nurture, and transform. We want to help you thrust into your purpose so that you can start living your best life and win. We want to see everyone win. So we're happy that you came by tonight. You could have gone anywhere else, but we're so excited that you decided to join us here. You took the time out of your evening and you logged on. So we have something for you. And for those of you who are watching in replay, make sure you download your worksheet because we have a lot of information in store tonight. I'm going to pause and allow Annette to greet you all right now.
Well, hello, everybody. We're so glad you're here tonight. We're excited as always. We movement to move. We often say we're not psychiatrists or psychologists, but we're lifeologists. And so what we do is share what we've gone through. So tonight, like every other Wednesday, we're here to give you more information to help you win and get you to that place. So thanks again.
All righty. We are on move, meant to move. We're not meant to stand still. We're meant to move. And tonight is a laid back discussion. We don't, there are no big eyes, there are no little U's. We're, like she said, we're not psychologists, we're lifeologists. And there are some things that we have picked up and we want to share them with you. I know that there are a lot of people who felt in 2018 like they just couldn't get past start. Well, we're helping you get past start now. We've gone through a lot of personal development. Last year's topics were, we had an exciting start. Yeah. And now we're turning the corner and we're doing some different things and we're going in and out. We're going to touch some very touchy surfaces. But tonight we're piggybacking off of what we started last week. For those of you who were with us last week and you had this was refresh, restart, reboot. And what we did was we dealt with how some of us need a do-over. And we have to figure it out. We have to pause. We have to sometimes, just like a computer, sometimes you have to refresh it. Sometimes you have to restart it. And sometimes you have to shut it off and cut it off from all outside sources. And that's what we have to do sometimes. And so we actually went through this exercise last week. It was very exciting. And at the end of it, we had people to talk about how they would rebrand themselves based on the information in their refresh, restart, and reboot category. So now we want to take this, and tonight we have another sheet that we call the brand builder. And with the brand builder, actually, if you could take it out now, if you have it, take it out now so that you can start jotting some things down. If you don't have it, grab you a pen and paper and start taking some notes because there's some stuff that goes along with this sheet. And as you go, if you start like jotting notes down next to certain things, you won't forget this information and you can go back later. So make sure you grab that pen, grab that paper, start taking those notes. Hello, Valerie. Thank you for coming. And we're going straight in. I'm going to open up our presentation. But, a lot of us, we've heard the term a lot. I know I did. Maybe about 10 years ago, I first started hearing people talk about themselves. One guy called himself the brand broker. I'm like, wow. What is a brand broker? I mean, that was a great name considering, nobody used it. Nobody was, into it like that. People were just starting to get to the point where they actually talked about a brand. But this guy had gone all in and he called himself the brand broker. I was like, all right now, what you say now? So tonight we're calling it Project Brand Ambassador. Most people that you hear about in this day and age, they're talking about hiring a brand ambassador. And really within the last 5 years, I started seeing brand ambassador pop up everywhere. When you go online, you kind of see what the trend is. And the trend was everybody was a brand ambassador. Oh, I'm a brand ambassador. And basically, we're going to break down what that actually means. What is a brand ambassador? This is Project Brand Ambassador. Well, first of all, you have to deal with the brand. The brand is the overall concept. You have to come up with a concept for your business. Who you are. What's your concept? And we're going to get into that because we're going to start building it tonight. So when you're talking about brand ambassador, you have brand, which is your concept. The ambassador is a representative of your concept. It's a specialist. This person specializes in keeping your brand awareness public and relevant. Like your chief promoter. So who best knows about your business, about your movement, about your ministry, or about you better than you?
Yes.
Nobody. Don't you know you better than anybody else in that?
Exactly, yes.
I think I know me better than anybody else. So what we've done is we've come up with the concept that, first of all, most of us who are starting off with a business, and this is one of the things that we were talking about earlier, Michelle, is that some people start going into this process of building something, and they're building it based on the overall normal concept of how people build a business or how people put things together. So people will tell you, oh, you need a this, and you need a that, and you need a this, and you need a that, when actually you may have a very tiny budget. I'm telling you, I started my first business for $400. And I've been able to get more commercial properties than I was able to get places to live. It was so much easier to rent a commercial property because, and it seems like it should be the other way around, but it wasn't. I always thought it was, but because I wasn't scared, I went straight up to those people and asked them, say, oh, well, how much is the rent? How much is this lease? And what's the square footage? And can I take a look? I need to do this and this and this. And I know that you can go into commercial property. You can rip out the carpet. You can put down tile. You can put mirrors. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you handle things according to the property's code. And you don't necessarily have to go and hire a bunch of people. I actually had my partner's husband do all of our renovation. And he was going on YouTube and calling his dad, who's a construction guy. The only thing that we hired somebody for was electrical, because nobody wanted to play around with that. But when it came to painting and putting down tiles, and he did all of that. He did the trim, he put up mirrors, he did everything that we needed to do. And it cost us nothing. We were able to get all of those things done. So when we look at this project brand ambassador, you are your own brand ambassador. Yes, you. So who's your brand ambassador? You. So type that in. I want you all to get that in your head. I want you to get started on that tonight. Type in, I am my own brand ambassador. It might take you a second. But type that in, because a lot of times, I'm telling you, we get so caught up in doing things according to what everybody else thinks we ought to do, or how everybody else thinks we ought to do it. But when you get tired of that and you start, like, wait a minute, how did this person do this? And how did that person do this? You know why? Because they weren't scared. So you have to say, I am my own brand ambassador. I can talk about me and promote me better than anybody else can. So that's what we're going to, make sure that you're able to do tonight. Who's writing on the screen? Somebody's writing on the screen. Okay, so, all righty. So now we're gonna go into this whole breakdown. So Annette, I'm gonna give it to you.
All right.
Trying to figure out how to get these things off. Somebody's writing on the screen, and I don't think they're doing it intentionally. So I'm gonna come out and go back in real quick.
Okay. I
don't think it was an intentional thing. But this way we make sure that we get those lines off the screen. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm going to share again so we can go into that section.
Like Nita already said, it's about brand building, your concept. Mm-hmm. How do you view you? Who knows you better than you? And so one of the first things you need to do with this concept, you have to come up with an idea. How is this going to work for me? You have to do your research. You got to find brands like your brand and distinguish what makes you different. What about you, Sharon, makes you different? What about you, Anita, makes you different? So what you do, you have to do research. So if you cook, then you got to go out there and see who does what you do. If you cater, whatever you do. So you make sure you do your research. Because one of the things I find, it's easy to say that I got this great idea, I'm going to do this or do that, but you really need to do your research. So sometimes it's not as cut as dry as you think it is. Because even when we started this, oh my gosh, I told Nita, we got to do all this.
Yes.
I just thought I was gonna write about a quote, about 2 quotes, and I'm gonna do me a bestseller. But it's a bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do your research. Go online and read some books, whatever it takes. Learn as much
Take
about
some
what
classes.
other people do. Yes, and that way you'll be able to build your own brand better because now you see how your competitors does it,
Mm-hmm.
and so it'll make your brand better. And not only should you do research, but you got to target your audience. Who are you trying to reach?
Mm-hmm.
What's your age group? If you're doing a women's ministry, chances are you're not going to be reaching out to men.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your target group is, your audience, make sure you try to reach out to that age group.
Mm-hmm.
When I started writing my book, I didn't realize how important that was. I
It
just
is
want to
very
write a book. Yeah, I just want to write a book that anybody who can read can go for it. But no, it's bigger than that. It's a lot to it. I mean, it's doable, but you have to make sure you follow certain steps, and it'll save you in the long run.
You know what, Annette? One of the things that I learned is that every situation, because we always talk about you have multiple streams of income.
Yes.
All of the things that you know how to do, there's so many gifts inside you. Even Michelle with your school, you're going to open a school, but you have another stream of income. You may even dive into a tutoring business from that, where you have tutoring as well as the school. And then there are all kinds of other ways that you can make money. So you have to learn who your ideal clients are. And so when you're doing this research, you're building that target audience. That's what it is. What does my ideal client look like?
Yeah.
Who's the type of person that I'm trying to reach? Who's the type of person that could benefit from what I'm giving?
Yes, exactly. Because I have a ministry called Gifts Girls Inspired for Total Success. And so one of the things I want to do, I want to go to the schools, I want to go to here, I want to go there. But then I said, well, maybe I need to come up with a curriculum. So that curriculum can go places I can't go.
Mm-hmm.
And it can target some people I can't target. Mm-hmm. I can't be everywhere. But if I can come up with this concept, my brand, to build on that, that can go where I can't. And that's why it's so important when you build a brand, because other people see it. And you never know who are looking at your brand. Mm-hmm. You never know. Now, and also, we want to look at the mission statement. It's a statement that explains the heartbeat of your organization, your purpose, and your goals. You have to make sure you write your mission statement in such a way, in a few words. You don't need to write 5 paragraphs, but in a few words, just to capture what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
With the movement. It's a few words, but you can read it and say, oh, that's what they do. You don't have to guess. You know what it's about. So your mission statement is so important because everything is built around that mission statement. It's the heartbeat. We did can we talk about the heart and how important the heart is, in the veins and the arteries and all the other functions in the body. It all stems from the heart. If other parts of the body are not right, then chances are you may have to
gotta check the heart.
Check the heart, and that's what's important. You gotta have your heart right, and that's what's so important about the mission statement is the heart. So also we have a slogan. It's a memorable motto, a phrase. Example: Nike, just do it. Pork, the other white meat. My organization, Gifts, my slogan inside of every woman is a little girl, and inside of every little girl, a woman would emerge. Few words, but to the point. So slogans are very important. People remember that. They remember
movement to move.
Yes. And see, with the move, I love it because that means I can move my neck with it. It's a movement to move.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm laughing, but it's so important because people will remember. It's certain things that said, like you said, just do it. Who don't know that? So that's important with your slogan. Make sure your slogan lines up with your mission, which lines up with your target audience, which lines up with your research. Mm-hmm. So not only should you have slogan, but the look of your brand. the color schemes, your shapes and designs, even your website. With the movement, we have a certain color scheme, and as you can tell when you look at our brand, but it's the movement worldwide. So you see a world. So you know it has something to do with the world. We're worldwide. What we are saying is that we're starting here, but we want to go across the world. We want to make sure other people know you can win. I don't care where you're from. Even if you don't speak our language, that's all right. We'll get somebody else to speak Chinese and Japanese, and that's all right. But we want you to know that you can win. So make sure your colors line up. You know, I don't have anything against purple and green and orange. You have to make sure that it's not busy. I've seen certain looks is very busy. So your eyes don't know which way to look. So that's so important that your look is lining up with who you say you are. And next we have the logo. That's the symbol that identifies your company, your logo. When I look for Nike, I look for a certain logo. When McDonald's, there's a certain, I'm sorry, I apologize. You have a certain logo. So McDonald's, you know their logo. Burger King, you know their logo. Popeyes, you know. So there's a logo, so you know, even if there's no words there, you know what it symbolizes.
Right.
So make sure that it identifies your company. And you want to make sure that what you're offering is memorable. You want to make sure that your logo stands out. So that's so important.
Yeah, that's why it's important that your colors and your shapes and everything, it all unifies.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes, you know, we'll think of a color in our head, but I don't care what anyone say. When you see it, you know it. You know it. Yeah. It stands out to you. And it's very important because people are going to remember. I was looking at this young man. There's a young man in the city now. He has a company called Red Dot Studios. He's a dancer. And so every time I see red and that little dot on the side, I know that's him. It's very unique. And the way he has it designed, it is incredible. I love it because it's a very unique, and I just saw his logo today and it's like, wow, it really stands out. And I will remember that. Yeah. There are some people's logos, I can't tell you what they look like because either it's too busy or it's too common or, you know, it's something that doesn't really stand out. And then they'll say, okay, that's it. But there are some logos like I said, that Nike check, when you see it, you know it's Nike.
Yes. Because even when we came up with our own logo, we played with about 3 or 4 blues until we got the right blue. You know, because even though we wanted that color, but we wanted to make sure that everything lined up.
We even had pink in it one time, remember?
Yeah, we did. Oh, we did purple, we did green. But we played with colors until we got it to where we wanted it to be. And it wasn't nothing wrong with the purple, but it just did not fit where we're going.
No.
So every color is not going to fit, every design, every shape is not going to fit where you're going. So you may come up with something, you may really love it. And then, because we had this logo for, I guess, almost a year, not quite. Then you may decide later, that's not working. Let me change that. And it's all right to change. It's all right to go back to the drawing board.
It's all right to go to the next level.
Yes.
Things change.
That's right. And I know we want to hold on. That's so cute. Oh, that's so cute. No, well, but
it works for a season.
Where you're going. Yes. And so that's so important not to get so locked down on something. You know, I did like the logo all right, but once we changed it, I like, oh my gosh, that's it. We knew. We knew when I said Anita, like, okay, that's it. That's where we trying to go. So that's so important. And next is accountability. It's taking ownership of your brand. That's your brand. You said you're that company. You said you're the movement.
It would be strange to own something and it be yours and then you not own up to it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Like you're sitting there with a big old question mark on your face about your own brand that you created.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on the prayer line Monday night and with my sister, and we were just talking. All of a sudden, she said, Annette, tell us about the movement. I said, oh, okay. I was ready. I didn't know that was gonna happen, but I was ready because why? I know about this movement that we're involved in. So I was accountable. I was able to tell and I was able to articulate and tell them exactly what we were doing, where we were trying to go. And I also wanted to bring them along with us. So
Mm-hmm.
just be accountable. Just know, take ownership. It's yours. You said that you believe you've been called to do whatever that thing is. So
And
since
that's
you've
in
been called,
every, but that's in every aspect too. I mean, when it gets
yeah,
really serious, then there's the, that's the financial accountability, and
yeah,
across the board, you have to be accountable. You're held accountable for what you're doing.
yeah,
It's not, you don't have a boss that you can point the fingers and a supervisor. No, you're all of the above.
yeah.
So
That's
you have to
right.
take accountability.
Yeah, you may have a logo, but behind that logo is your face.
And by the way, make sure if you're not, or if you're doing this later, like I've already filled in brand phase 1. I started doing my work on the side here. I'm filling in my worksheet because these are the things that you need to start working on. And if you don't have your worksheet and you're going to do it later, because this will be up tomorrow, we'll have the replay up. I'll try and get it up tonight if I get a chance to. But I'll probably more than likely have the email going out tomorrow. But we'll have this up, and you'll be able to go back and start filling in your information on your brand building phase. So as we're going through the phase, we're getting ready to go into the next phase, which will be phase 2. You'll hear the words if you're looking at your sheet. You'll be able to fill it
in. Yeah. And what is important about writing it down, once you begin to see it on paper, it takes life. You can have it in your head, but once you write it down, it's almost like the words jump off the page, like, wow, I'm really doing this. And so that's why it's so important to write. I mean, I know we live in the technology, everything we type, but, just to write it, it seems real then.
Mm-hmm.
I say that because I say that because I write quotes. I'll have them in my head, but when I put them on paper, I'm like, man, okay. And it becomes real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so now you have a step-by-step. We're not saying this the only way, but it's one of the way, but you have a step-by-step guide how to help you get to the next level. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the next level. We're trying to win.
Oh, yeah.
So we know, yeah. So one thing about it, when you start a race, you haven't won until you get to the finish line. So we're just starting the race and trying to help you get to the finish line so you can win with us. So next thing that we have that we're going to look at is the brand wheel. The brand wheel, this is some of the things that you need to do with your brand. Because it's important, like I said earlier, even though you have a logo and all that, you're still that face behind your brand. So the first thing I want to look at is the promise. Promise simply means this: you meet your constituents' expectation by taking charge of your reputation, and you will have a loyal following. When you make a promise, if you say that you can do something, make sure you can do that.
Wow. You reminded me of something, and it's so funny, but you know what, Annette? A lot of people don't do just that.
I
They
know.
don't live up to the promise. I remember I was working with a student who was auditioning actually he was auditioning for Glee. And he put his audition sheet that he played guitar. So they asked him to show up to the reading with his guitar and to do a song. I had to cancel my clients for 2 days to sit with him and teach him a song on guitar for him to do that, to get past that audition. Now, the funny thing is, he was too young for the cast of Glee because he was only 16 and the rest of the cast was like 20 something. So he ended up going to a whole nother show on Nickelodeon that he was perfect for. He got the lead role. But what would have happened if he had shown up and said, well, I actually don't play the guitar, but so you made a promise when you sent in your casting sheet that you could do those things that were on the sheet. And you clearly wrote down that you played guitar. So you just didn't expect anybody to show up and say, well, play something for me. And that's why when you make a promise, when you promise something in your brand, make sure you can do that.
Yes. Because we say all the time, we're a movement. We're a motivational organization. Well, how if we never motivate?
If we say we want to transform and build,
yeah, we never transfer you
and help you build your business,
yes.
And then we wouldn't be doing this tonight. We can come on and Kamala, but a lot of people do that a little too much and don't get anything else done. But we want to help you build and get past the start. We want to help you get your business off the ground. We want to help you walk into that abundant living so that you can do something, greater than what you ever expected.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're taking charge of our reputation, and then we'll have a following every Wednesday. If it's only 3 or 4 or 5 people, we know pretty much who to expect. Now, others may come, and that's wonderful. But we're making a promise that we're going to do just what we say. We tell you we're going to help you. We're going to tell you how to be your brand. We're going to, like Anita said, speaking in tongue is wonderful. But what do you do after the tongue cease? So you have to make sure that you live up to what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So that is important. That's the promise that you make. It's like, you say, I promise that I won't never do it again. Well, of course, we do it again. But we have to live up to our promise. Next is integrity. Integrity is how consumers perceive your company or your brand through its product, image, and reputation. Integrity. It's like me going to Walmart. They say I can bring something back. But they're not telling the truth. They're telling me, well, no, yeah, no, but then there's a lack of integrity. So you don't want to have a lack of integrity. You don't want people to say, child, you don't want to fool with them, girl. Because word of mouth it goes a long way.
Reputation is always going to follow you. Let me tell you, don't say that you can, don't say that you aim to please, and then the people come to your school, Michelle, and your teachers can't read.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I'll never forget. My friend was interning with a teacher one time, and the girl said, "Wait, I'm not gonna be with you in January," and she's teaching kids. And she said January, and she said, "You need to fix that because the word is January. You're not gonna be with me in January." She said, "Oh my goodness," and she said, "You know what?" And that's the thing. And your reputation, her reputation with that teacher was, okay, she can't teach kids. These kids their minds are budding. They have to know how to pronounce the words.
You have to. That's right. Yes. Yes. So you saying you're a teacher, but you can't even talk. Okay. Yeah.
And it went beyond just, a little messed up English. This was like really simple pronunciation. I know some people, have struggled with the STR. They'll say street and strawberry, but this was past that. It was a lot of words that she was saying stuff like October, OPT, and January. She needed to go get some, you have to live by your brand. Go get some speech therapy.
Yeah.
Learn how to fix that because it is fixable.
Yeah, you're right. You have to have integrity. You have to live up to who you say you are. It goes back to the promise. You got to live up to it. You got an image. You got an image and you got a reputation to protect.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about an image and a reputation, once it's tainted, you can get it together, but once it's tainted, I'm not saying you can't overcome it, but people are always remember, child, yeah, I know, but girl, you don't. I remember when I went to that store, don't go there. How you like something? That's all we got to say.
Girl, you don't want to go there.
Like child, so yeah. So just make sure you're just on top of your game. Integrity. Be a brand of integrity. You're gonna produce. You're gonna be the top of your brand. Now you can't help. Sometimes people are not always fair, and they may not always tell the truth. But you just make sure you're on top of who you are and who your brand, because you represent your brand. Your brand is important. So next we have experience. Your brand operates in the real world. Everyday experiences define your brand. These connections feed back into your brand as it evolves. So your experiences. I was looking to get a plumber here because I was having problems. And one of the first things I did, I read the reviews because I wanted to know what other people were saying about
I do the
this
same.
company. So me and Anita talked about that. And so even when you read reviews, we were talking about to make sure that, like with the plumber, make sure he's did more than 2 jobs. So it's important for the experience, the feedback. What are people saying about the movement? What are people saying about sharing? What are people saying about your food? Your food is delicious, you know that. But these are the things that's important with the everyday experience. It'll define your brand. And if by chance you fall in an area that may be good, because you may say, okay, all right, I can't do that again. I got to go a different route. I can't go that route. Because even when we were doing Facebook, I'm kind of deviating a little bit. When we were doing Facebook, we kept trying to do something, It kept dropping. So we had to come up with something else, because we wanted people to have a good experience. We didn't want you, every time you come on here, 30 minutes, it's you can't hear us. It kicked me off so much, I just decided just don't even bother.
It was a challenge.
It was a challenge.
It didn't work for this setting. I guess it just wasn't meant for like being on this long with this setting. Some people go on and they don't have problems. We have problems, and maybe it's because we were doing, like 2 of us on. I don't know what it was, but God has a way of showing you when something don't work, and that didn't work.
Yes. Because my daughter, Mom, y'all always dropping, and that's why I'm not on. Now I want to know I'm gonna get with her. Now, what's your excuse now?
What is the problem now?
What is it? Because we don't drop that.
We're not dropping it all.
But the bottom line is about experience. It was some good information we were providing, but our experience wasn't always up to par. Mm-hmm. So make sure your brand operates in the real world. This thing real. Once you get out there, like when we first started, Anita used to always say, when you jump off the cliff and you flip it, flop. Okay, but now you're flying. Mm-hmm. So you already jumped. Mm-hmm. You haven't crashed. So make sure that everything line up. And now next we want to talk about the personality. It's what people say and think about you. It projects your values and inform expectations. Because a first impression is everything. The personality of your
personality comes out in your brand.
Yes.
It's a reflection of who you are. Mm-hmm. And when you show when your good side shows in your brand, and people see that, they're attracted to it. They're attracted to you because of the fact that your brand exemplifies a part of you that, obviously that draws, or that's helpful, or that's resourceful. So your when your personality expresses in your brand, and make sure it's in check, because if you're grumpy and grouchy, your brand is grumpy and grouchy. Friendly and warm and giving and caring, that is what your brand is.
Yeah, you're right. Because we sort of lay back and we laugh, and it's a comfortable setting. Can we talk? So yeah, it does reflect us. Before the night we're gonna laugh about something, and we're gonna tell a story, may even tell a joke. So there's a certain seriousness, but also it's comfortable. Mm-hmm. I can really talk. I can really express myself. Somebody's gonna really listen to me. Somebody really cares. So that's the image we want to portray, and it's real. It's not fake, and it's not phony, and it's not something we just made up. It's who we are. So what they're saying, what you see it's definitely what you get. So that personality, Sharon personality with her cooking is she want everything elegant, everything got to be lined up, and I'd be like, girl, put that food on out there in my head. because I work with her. But no, she wants everything in such a way, everybody knows it's going to be, you're going to have every dish, you're going to have in front of it what it is and da, 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 da. So, but that's her personality. So I know when I go work with her, when she have a catering business, I already know everything's going to be lined up in such a way she's not going to present the food. So that's why it's so important for the personality. Now we have consistency. If your brand can retain consistency, depth and integrity in every medium, your message will convince and your cause will succeed. Be consistent. If you say you're going to be on at 7, be on at 7.
Exactly.
If you say about you having a meeting, make sure you're on time. Don't matter who else is late. You make sure that you're on time for your brand because you're representing your brand. So we get on, sometimes there's nobody on, but we have to be consistent in season and out of season. Whether it's one person or 10 people, you still make sure you're on time. When you're online,
make sure you deliver a product that people are going to feel the need to want to sit and listen to. Like if we spend a lot of time preparing. We're doing PowerPoint presentations, we're researching, and then say she wants all her degrees. She said by the time we finish movement, we're going to be a specialist in every category. If you were on here when we did Check Your BP, we had all the ventricles and the whole heart. We had the anatomy up, and we had to study to understand the flow of blood because it's the same situation that happens with your brand, with your business. It's how the blood flows. It pumps, that oxygen pour goes into the heart and pumps out oxygen rich. That's the only way the organs and everything can survive. And so we had to learn that. We had to actually study that for a long time to really get it. Even tonight, we had to study. So we study to show ourselves approved because we want to be consistent in our delivery, that when we tell you, Michelle, we're going to help you start your business, we're going to walk you through this because we want your testimonial.
Yeah, because by the time we got through with the matters of the heart, I want to go in there. I could probably go and give some check some blood pressure, and I'm not even close to being a nurse or nothing else in that field. But I like, man, I told Nita, I said, and we had the this and the atrium and this. I said, wow, but all that you had to do all of that. We had to do all of that to make sure that we got the information to, and as in the body, all that is needed to make sure that the body continues to run and is healthy. Because you can have a body that's not healthy. So you have to make sure that everything's lining up so you can be healthy. There's a lot of brands that's not healthy because they don't have the right stuff pumping into the heart. So that's so important. And now, evolution. I love this one. It's the continued process of improving a brand, a customer's opinion. You got to keep changing.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot stay and be all stale. You gotta study. You gotta read. You gotta see what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world, that your brand in that world. What are people doing now? You have to find out what tools are available. What can I use to help this organization? I told Nita, we were talking about, well, I didn't know what it was, I'm gonna be honest. I called her, I said, Nita, what is that 8 thing? She told me 8 thing. She said, MailChimp. I was so MailChimp. I was so tickled, but MailChimp was important because it helped minimize the amount of work you have to do. Once you get up and running, there's some tools that can help you. Something may have taken you 2 hours. You get the right tools, it may take you, 5 minutes. So as you build your brand, you learn what's going on. It can help you. So evolve.
You have to evolve with, just like we talked about with the logo earlier, that our first logo worked for a minute, but we evolved to another logo. We upgraded. Mm-hmm. And it's okay because as it evolves, it keeps people's focus and their interest.
Yes. And it keeps not only it keeps your focus. And so now we got to do this. I mean, you got to do it. You want, if you want your brand to do what you want it to do, you have to study. You gotta know it. Because Well, I was just chilling. I ain't gonna lie, Nita was going, I said, Nita, all that stuff. But you know what? Now I love it because now I'm really I'm searching and I'm finding out, I want to make sure that we provide the top of the line that what we can do. We want to make sure everybody win. We want to make sure the information is out there. So that's what it's going to take with your brands, y'all. You got to work. It's some work behind it, but it's worth it. And if you have a passion and a drive, and if it's really on the inside, you don't mind the work. You just keep hammering it and hammering it, and you watch how things begin to fall in place. So that's it for the brand wheel. So now at this time, we'll have Miss Anita with the brand promotion.
Okay, so now if you actually go to, I think we're now in phase 3, which is called promotion of your worksheet. Because in order for you to take all of this stuff that we've been talking about, all of that is about building. Because then you have to take it to another level and you have to promote. It doesn't make sense to have a brand that people don't know about. And there is a whole lot of things that you can do that doesn't cost any money. And she was talking about earlier about that monkey thing. She said, what's the monkey thing? I'm like, and I got so tickled. It's M.O.V.E.M.E.N.T. Free. There's so many things that are free. And we're going to actually offer a whole lot of this stuff in our masterclass that's coming up, where we're going to be able to walk you through. Even you think this is thorough, this is nothing. We have so much information. It is crazy. Yes. And it's stuff that we've had to do. And I'm like, if somebody would have just sat me down and given me all of this, it would have saved me a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
But the first thing you have to do in promoting is that you have to network. You have to meet professionals from other related businesses. You have to do promotion with them. You have to, all of this will give you the opportunity to learn about your competitors, because it's a competitive world, but nobody can do what you do the way you do it. But when you network with people, you learn more. You can ask for referrals. You can form partnerships. You can get with complementary industries. You can spread awareness about your own business through groups with like-minded people who are doing just what you're doing. But you're not going to find them by staying behind the four walls of your house. You got to get out. You got to get out and you've got to network. You've got to go and attend some of these seminars and classes. And there's a whole lot of free stuff. You don't have to pay for everything. Everything is not a cost. But, it takes you to get out and get out with your business cards. Get out and do something. But, a lot of times we just like to sit home. We just chill. We don't even, so, you have to have your paraphernalia. I have that down under, I think I have it down under promotion, that you need to develop your paraphernalia. That's your business cards, your J cards, all of the things that describe who you are and what you do. And you give those out at meetings and functions and business mixers. There are a whole lot of things. I guarantee if you start doing your research, you'll find them. Get out and meet and network. That is the power of business. Because if you're comfortable where you are, then by all means, you can stay where you are, but I'm not. I want that and then some. I want the abundant life that I was promised. See, we say we want it. We hear about it. We shout about it. We get our Kamala. We go to church and hear them say, oh, Christ said that I have come that you might have life, and you might have life more abundantly. Woo, my Father on the cattle on 1,000 hills. Woo, hallelujah. Yeah. He said I should be the first and not the last. Oh, I'm above and not beneath. And we pray it and we say it, but we don't live it. So it's time to put up or shut up, because God is giving you everything. You have everything wrapped up in one book. He gave you all of it. Everything that we're talking about right now, trust me, there's a scripture reference for everything. We're just not coming, Kamala. We're coming to you practical, because a lot of people don't sit down and have this conversation. So we want you to sit down and practically look at what you're doing. Write that down in your notes. I need to get out and network. Type that in. Type network. Network. It's the same thing that we've done. We've done that a lot with our business. We've networked. I've gone to seminars. I've gone to classes. I've gone on other webinars because I wanted to educate myself. I knew what I needed to do because I knew what I was trying to do. Did y'all type that in? Network. I ain't typing in myself. I'm going to type mine in. There ain't nobody typing in. I'm going to type mine in. Network. It is important, the network. Okay. Now, the other thing is you have to advertise. Now, like I was saying, for those of you who were here last week, we talked about how my form of advertisement for my vocal lessons is very different from the other forms of advertisement that I would do with other businesses. But there are so many different things like print, direct mail. You've got to sit down and find all of your media outlets and start working on how you are going to put this out to the public. Everything doesn't happen with a flyer. People throw those away a lot of times. So you've got to learn all of the different ways of advertising and put it to use, put it to work. Direct mail works good too. You know, it's a little harder. I used to do it a while back, but after email, people stopped doing direct mail, but it still works. And you can also do email, like we talked about earlier with M.O.V.E.M.E.N.T. Get into building that database and start advertising, start finding that ideal client and advertise. Then you have to build partnerships. Building partnerships with other organizations, just like we talked about with the networking. But with this particular thing, you want to piggyback off of the success of another business, and there is nothing wrong with that. And I'll give you an example. Annette and myself, and Brenda's not on tonight, but Brenda also, we have all done piggyback marketing with Claudette Freeman, because all three of us went to her to have our books edited and published. That's a business. And when she advertises our books on her website, she's piggybacking off of our business. When she puts our books and our covers and everything on her social media, she's piggybacking off of our business. And when we promote that we had our book done with Claudette, we're piggybacking off of her business. And then each person's following pulls from the other. Iron sharpens iron. So you build business partnerships. There are some people that you just network with, some people you just talk to. But remember, this is one of them ships. You got to learn who belongs in the partnership, because everybody doesn't belong there. Then we have to do what we were talking about earlier with social networking. Facebook with Live, it didn't work for us, but actually our groups and our page does. And you should be on all social media. Say all. I can't hear y'all, but say all social media platforms, and be visible. Be visible. Don't be afraid to be seen. Stop hiding behind your little quotes and your little pictures and stuff, because it doesn't really show the truth. But when people feel like they can connect with you, there's nothing wrong with coming on and saying, hey, my name is Michelle Green, and I just want to come on and say, as an educator, I've been excited about building something that I could personally put my touch on some lives. I've raised my children. I've been teaching children for X amount of years, but I want to pour into some lives. I feel led that my mission in life is to pour into some minds and cultivate and mold some minds for the future. So I'm opening my school entitled blah, 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 blah. Stay tuned. There is nothing wrong with that. Get out there, Michelle. I just gave you a nice little plug there. So you have to not be afraid of being visible, because social networking is the wave of now. That's what people are using. And it's important that we not be afraid of it and embrace it. And for those who are, if you're under 40 and you don't know how to do anything on social media, shame on you, because you really need to wake up. Because I know 80-year-old people who are on Facebook. And if you can't do the simple things like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, something is very wrong. Please get on. Please don't be afraid. Please do some lives, do some videos, do some spontaneous stories on your Instagram. And you have to get out past Facebook. Instagram is a different audience. You have to get on all social media platforms. The other thing is start, figuring out what your freebies are. Pass out merchandise with your company's name on it, a logo on it, a little calendar, a little something at trade shows, keychains, whatever. It takes an investment. Go to social gatherings. Prepare some free downloads, ebooks, whatever it is. People love free stuff and they're attracted to it. So when you're giving out something free, I don't care how small it is, even if it's a pencil, they feel excited, like, ooh, I got a free pencil. You know, some people who gather up all the free stuff, like at conferences, and it don't really be nothing. They're like, ooh, did you get your little thumbnail? Did you get your fingernail file? It's like something simple. I think you can get some of those things like as little as like 10 cents or 50 cents. And we have a person, we'll actually start When we start building the network of stuff, we'll start giving out some of this information in our emails, because we do have a person that we've connected with who does merchandising. She's a strong woman. She has her own company called Souls Inc. And she's doing a lot of our merch. So you have to get your freebies together. The other thing is develop customer relationship. Customers are people, not numbers. And it's important that you put consideration and effort into building personal relationships with them. I spend about an hour or two every Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day. I spend about 2 hours on those days personally, not copy and paste, but personally sending out a greeting to all of the important people that I am networking with in my phone. I've also set up with the movement to send out Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and for those who have entered their birthday, I'm going to do an email for you to enter your birthday. I don't need to know the year, just the month and the day. It's fine, because we do want to reach out to you on your birthday, because some people don't even get a happy birthday. So it's important to develop the relationship with your customers, because they'll remember that. They feel like family to you. They're more than just a number. They're people. They feel, they eat, they breathe, they bleed just like you, and they want to feel like they're important. And when they feel that way, that is a lasting customer who will also tell other people about your brand. Because what they come back with is a testimonial, which is important. Net talked about this earlier. There is no tool more powerful than people talking with their family and friends about your product or the quality of your work. Girl, I went to this wedding, and what's Sharon's company called? What's the name of Sharon's company?
You're gonna kill me.
Girl.
Covered by Grace Catering.
Huh?
Covered by Grace Catering.
Covered by Grace Catering.
Thank you,
girl. I went to this wedding, and Covered by Grace Catering catered. Let me tell you, that food was off the chain. When you have your daughter's graduation party, you need to get Covered by Grace. I'm gonna give you the number, and that's that one thing. I'm gonna tell you, my business is all word of mouth. Anita Wilson Music Group, consulting and coaching and management, mainly the coaching portion and consulting. Management is by choice. All of it is by choice, but my consulting and my coaching is all word of mouth, because it don't advertise. I put out little teasers. I talked about that last week, little teaser videos. It's a different brand of advertisement, but I don't go on and say for $150 an hour, you can come and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't do that. If you have to personally find me to get to me. But that word of mouth has been more important to my business than anything. People come to me and say, "Oh, so-and-so was telling me, if you work with this lady, your voice is going to grow in 2 months. Watch. She's the best vocal coach here." And that's what you want. Those testimonials, they are very powerful to your business. Very powerful. Let me tell you something. We have got to get past the point of sitting and thinking that everything is just going to fall in our lap. That's one of the sad parts about those of us who are quote unquote church folk, is that we sit back and just wait. Magically and mystically, God is giving you a vision and a dream, and you just gonna sit back and wait for it all to come. Because he showed me, and if he said it, that settles it. And I have faith. But the Bible says that faith without works is dead. Yeah. And we have already been talking about how we're living in a time where the time between sowing and reaping that harvest is accelerated. You do not have time to waste. Get up and start working on this brand, because it is important that you get all of these pieces together. This is the stuff that's going to shape and mold who you are. And if I can't tell you what your logo looks like, it's because you have not been doing your job. But I can guarantee you, when you see this globe, you know that's the movement. I guarantee you, when you see Annetism, you know that's Annette. I guarantee you that when you start seeing wow, because I haven't really put it out there, but when you hear me say wow, be blessed and be free, you know that's Anita. I have been in places where I went to a book signing or something. This was years ago when I first started using the slogan. And I said, wow. I was standing at a table and I was like, wow. She said, "Oh, you sound like the wild lady. I get this thing every Wednesday morning on my email from this lady." And she'd be like, "Wow." I said, "That's me." "No, you're not. You're the wild lady." And she just freaked out. She started calling other people over to the table. "This is the wild lady." "What? The wild lady?" Go, "Wow. Be blessed and be free." Ooh, that thing be setting me free. Those things stick. That's that slogan we talked about earlier. Those things stick. Those are the things that we have to put together, and then you got to promote it. Because promoting it and knowing that you are the person who stands in front of your brand, this is what we call brand awareness. Because that brand ambassador, project brand ambassador on duty, I'm showing up at duty with my hard hat. You see the little truck here, you see the trucks picking up that A. That's the project. You've got to build. You've got to start putting the blocks in place. You got to put things in where they're supposed to go. You have to put on your hard hat. You have to roll up your sleeves. It takes work. We can give you all the tools in the world, Michelle, but you got to sit down and put all this together. Because having it in your brain is not going to work. It can't just be in your head. You need to pull out a piece of cardboard, a poster board, and build you a vision board. You need to sit down with the brand builder worksheet and the worksheet from last week. I'll leave that thing up as well. I usually take it down the week later, but I will leave that one up. The refresh, restart, reboot. You need to pull that out, and you need to fill out this stuff, and you need to work on building the brand. And if you want to take it to the next level, in about 2 weeks, we're going to release our masterclass. We're going to do a free webinar where we're going to be releasing our masterclass. But it is going to change lives. When I tell you there's so much stuff in that masterclass, I can't begin to tell you how impactful it is. I wish I had a third of what we're going to be giving in this masterclass. It is ridiculous. I have a hard time believing we did it. But I knew I had a mandate, and I knew I had to make this stuff available to people because there's so many people who've been wanting to do this. There's so many people who have dreams and visions and just don't ever get past that place. But the devil is a liar, because we're going to make everyone aware of who you are. Project Brand Ambassador, I'm on duty. Because under all of that, once you're making all of this aware, you have to stay relevant. Once you get it all together, you got to stay relevant. You can't just like build it, be like, whoo, I'm done. No, the work begins. Because then, like she said earlier, it's going to evolve from there. Because some people don't stay relevant. Because I was looking at y'all president tonight. Somebody need to tell him they make many more concealers and foundation in this day and age. I'm sorry, I mean to go political for those of you.
Many more what?
Many more shades of foundation and concealer. I'm really,
yeah.
And it's like the person who wears the same old hairstyle.
Which that's same, two in the same, but go ahead.
Same hairstyle, or the same, or still wearing a leisure suit.
And the Jerry curl.
Oh my God, Soul Glow is gone.
Yeah.
Even my mom still had what you call a curl in her latter days because she couldn't raise her hands to comb her hair. But even my mama was using vegetable glycerin and everything else and oils and stuff in her hair. Wasn't no jelly, cute spray and activator and shiny and greasy. Can't sit on somebody's soap without leaving your residue. No, let your Soul Glow is gone. The Jerry curl is gone. The Jerry curl as we knew it back in what was that, the 80s? My mama would never let me get one. I wanted one so bad. She would never let me get it. So lose the Jerry curl and stay relevant. The other thing is you got to stand behind your brand. If nobody else does, you have to stand behind your brand. Don't be the one to start something and then go and hide when things are not working well. No, you got to stand behind it. Remember, you are accountable. So this is what, Project Brand Ambassador, this is your job. Stay relevant, stand behind your brand, and stay true to yourself. However you present yourself, that is who you are. Now, there's nothing more embarrassing than pretending to be somebody that you're not, because the truth is going to come to light.
Yeah.
If you present yourself as something else, like what was this show, Fresh Prince, when the girl and Will Smith got locked in the basement, and by the time they were free from the basement, she had taken off all this stuff, and he was like, "Oh, like who are you?" Like he didn't even recognize, the family didn't even recognize her when she came out. Like, who is that? Because she, all of her nails and eyelashes and hair and everything was off. There was nothing about her that was real. I'm not trying to tell you that you can't wear your weave and makeup, because trust me, I have on some now. I'm just saying, be true to yourself as a person, as a brand. Remember, your brand is your personality, and give the truth. Tell the truth about who you are. Don't pretend to be kind and giving, and then you look like you've been sucking on lemons every time somebody approach you. That's like some of the ushers in church. I don't understand why ushers always, the mean people always put to be an usher. Ushers are supposed to be nice. I never got that. You ever figure that out? That most of the ushers are mean?
Most of us, yeah.
Why are you an usher? I don't get it. I didn't get that. The other thing is you have to keep building. It's a process, because it doesn't stay the same. It constantly is going to build, and it's going to constantly grow. It's because the thing is, like we say so often, you might be the same person that you were, you're the same in your nature. Jesus the same yesterday, today, and forever. He changes not in his nature, but his methods constantly do. So you're building and you're growing, because ultimately your main objective in all of this is that you're serving. What you are giving people is something that they need. And our whole aim tonight, and this is like one of our more practical nights, we're dealing with something that we know people need. People have been asking for this. Like, how do I do this? What do I do? And let me tell you something. This is where everything starts. Especially talking to you, Michelle, because I know where you are. And Sharon, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you I have never seen your logo and stuff. I don't know if you have all of your pieces together, but these are the things that you can go through with the refresh, restart, reboot, and then you can start at the places that you need to make changes. You make them. We did it with the movement. Like we told you with the logo. We did it when we moved from Facebook to Zoom. We had to evolve because everything couldn't stay in the same place. It did not work where it was. Hey, Valerie, we ain't seen you in a minute. It's good to see you. Good to see your face. Live in the same city with you and don't even see you. Get a text every now and then. We ought to do better. Life has just been crazy, though. But yeah, so Michelle, I hope this has really been helpful to you tonight, because I was really looking forward to sharing this with you. Are you there, Michelle? Unmute yourself, because I did want to talk to you a little bit. I hope she ain't somewhere in the kitchen.
Yes. I'm walking around too, so I'll just do my video. But yes, this is very, very helpful. But I can say most of the stuff I have done already, because I guess, by me having a business, but it was at my home, such as my mission statement, all of that. I built my clientele. People just been like, look, you need to open up. Even DCF workers, like, I remember you. It's like,
you had a great business. I know for you it's like a do-over.
Yes, and the thing is, I just have this thing about having money. Now I got over that. I got over that a tidbit, because I'm like, if I open up, the business itself will make the money. And there's so many people out there that just like, look, you get the business open and you can pay me, I'll let you stay open for 3 months without rent. They have done it with, a friend of mine that has opened up a business. And I think I kind of wear my own stuff down, because I don't want to be this ordinary daycare that just give give the care that the other kids, other daycares have. And I could just give you examples such as, like, when I taught VPK. Now I do the VPK and I did assistant directing. Now with VPK, it's like I always have to just take it to another level. Every child in my care, in my VPK class, they graduate reading. They read on a first grade level. And I don't know. I have this thing with, even if I hire the workers, everybody is not as hardworking as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just hit my nerve. I just have to be like, I can't, it's me. It's mostly me. And I have to, I guess, just pray.
But you know what, Michelle? When you're opening it up, it's yours. See,
Yeah, I know.
when you're, and I know this is something you've done before. You had it at your home, and then you started working for for other companies and stuff. And now you're going back. You're actually going to go into a building. So you have to go into your brand with an uncompromising persona. Like, this is who it is. And when people see that from jump, all of the people who work with you, you have to deal with people who have a spirit like yours. Because remember, when we did relation ... shifts, we talked about people belonging where they belong. And everybody is not built to go where you are. They might be your great friend, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle. But let me tell you, and this is some real good foundational stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody is not equipped to go into, what's the name of your school?
My school that I work at now, or my...
Oh, your business.
Oh, Michelle's Academy, which I done told them. I said, they always say, when you open up, let me. I said, I said, no.
See, when everybody's not for Michelle's Academy. Michelle's Academy has a standard.
Yes.
And Michelle has to raise the bar, because you're going to be held accountable for everything that happens there.
Yeah.
So you got to up the ante, and you really need to go through refresh, restart, reboot, because that's where you are. You had to disconnect, which is, we talked about that from a computer perspective, where you have to sometimes shut the whole thing down, unplug it, and unplug the power source from it, and let it rest for a minute, so that when you turn it back on, it's completely clean. And when you talked about even doing refurbishing, which is what you've done, you've refurbished. So now when you open, it's different. It's not the same that it was before. So you need to freshen up your logo. You need to freshen up your paraphernalia. You need to go through and put everything in perspective and do it on another level. And there are a whole lot of things, a whole lot of resources that we have that are available to you. Gosh, you really need to take our Wings Like Eagles class, because under Wings Like Eagles, that's going to be the master class that we're teaching. In that class, we're showing you how to I can tell you for a fact, we have not spent a whole lot of money on these logos, on our videos, on any of the stuff that we're using. No. We have not. I mean, I'm talking $10. So when you learn how to get this kind of stuff done for little of nothing, and when you link with a merchandising person that can print your t-shirts for your school and do all of this stuff and get, all of your paraphernalia together and all of those things that take you to the next level, and do it economically and not where it's going to tax your pocket, there is a way. You just got to up the ante, and you got to up the ante with your personnel. You got to up the ante with everything, that people know that when they walk into Michelle's Academy, it's not the same as it was before. I know I might be your friend and your cousin, and you might have had your little Billy attend my school back then, and now you got little Rashad, and when little Rashad was a baby, now little Rashad coming into my classroom, things are different. I have a standard, and that's what you're going to have to do. And don't be afraid of that. Don't think that because you're being particular that you're nitpicking. No, you're not. You're a businesswoman, and you don't have to be afraid. Step out. Go get the building. Don't be afraid to go get it. Go acquire the space. Acquire the space and start. Acquire the space. Start the school. Put it out there. Get you a couple of advertisement videos. You can get them done for as little as $10, $15. We can show you how. Get you a couple of advertisement videos. Get you a couple of advertisement skins. Get you some flyers. All of that. You can get all of that stuff for less than $50. You just have to know where to go and get it. And that, am I right?
I gotcha.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, that's what we were talking about do your research. You're going to be different. You're going to be different from the rest. And that's the good thing about it. So you set the standard, they'll be coming to you. You gonna set the
Yeah.
standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
I
excited.
don't know. Yeah, I am. I don't know. Sometimes I think I lower my standards on, and I don't. It's like if I'm looking
You cut off.
Yeah, you go, Michelle.
at something Daytona area, it's not that.
It
You
cut off
hear
for
me?
a second. What you say now?
I said I'm looking for something in Daytona area, and I already know that's something that
Mm.
I just in the Orlando area, and I have someone that can look for a building for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought in 2019. You
Mm-hmm.
know, network, reach out to whoever can do the looking for me. Although because I'm not there, even research, go online or whatever. That's what I need to do. It's like I'm half doing it because I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead in Daytona area. Let me just get started. I'm trying to hurry up, and I don't feel it. I'm not. I don't feel it.
That's because God
Like
may
I
be
should.
calling you to enlarge your territory. You
Yeah.
got to move and post, honey, and you're trying to keep it confined. You're trying to stay within a boundary that God's trying to move you
Hmm.
out of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
But
can
see, I'm
agree
not
with that.
scared. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of doing anything. I'm not afraid of moving. I'm not afraid of building. I'm not afraid of pushing restart. You talk about, sometimes you might get to a certain point, you may stumble, and you just have to restart.
Yeah.
You just go back. You get up, brush off. Okay, you go back and we start over again. We start over.
Mm-hmm.
Failure is not an option for me. I have to keep moving. And when something doesn't work, it doesn't work. I keep moving. Doesn't mean that my vision is not clear. I'm very clear. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And you have to stand with the same integrity. You have to stand with the same tenacity. And don't be afraid. It's okay that you don't want to put it right smack dab in the middle of Daytona.
Yeah.
Because that may not be what God is calling you to do. I can't tell you, you know. Because if you keep going back and forth on it, then that means that you're trying to be, that means you're outside of God's will.
Yeah.
If God can say one thing and you keep on, well, I'm just going ahead. God, I know what you're telling me to do, but I'm going to go ahead over here because it's so much easier. And,
Mm-hmm.
I know you're trying to get me to go, but I'm going to go right on over here.
Ooh, sound just like me. Ooh, you're in my head.
I'm telling you, I've been there. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, my first business that I talk about all the time that I opened for $400, back in the day before nails got popular, I had a
Mm-hmm.
spa. My spa was on the beach side. It was on a peninsula. None of my clientele looked like me. I had about 4 or 5 people that looked like me that came to me to get their nails done.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because, I thought I was just so grand or whatever. It was because that's what gravitated to the standards that I have held in my spa.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They paid. They never asked for the hookup. They never come to me and tell me, well, at Electric Bangs, they do up to $50. Well, go to Electric Bangs. But if you want to come to Nails, etc., and let me tell you, Valerie, even my business here, Valerie used to do my appointment setting, which I need to get her back to doing it because I cannot do it anymore and I've evolved my little business. Valerie used to be glad. She used to tickle me sometimes. She used to gladly tell the people $125 an hour. She did not hesitate. I think she used to get a thrill out of it. Hello. She said, set my appointment. She said, okay, well, you have Brian Interfell. He cannot wait to come. And she get on there and pump it up. You need you a couple of Valeries who have the
Mm-hmm.
time to make some phone calls for you, who really believe and who stand with the integrity of your business and ain't looking for a handout, but who's really about what you're about, who has your spirit. And
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that you connect with.
Yeah.
And then when she would get the little disgruntled client, she always wanted to be, those are the times that she showed up at the office because she was always the virtual assistant. But when I had a moment and she knew I was going to have a conference with a client, she'll make her way there. I'm going to come by the office. I'm just going to sit up front.
Oh.
She's so funny, but she would come on those nights. But those are the types of situations that you have to put into place.
I wanted to see the action.
Without blinking, she wanted to see the action. And she
Yeah.
know me. She knew I was gonna get him. Because the thing is, I was never afraid. Still, am not. Never been afraid of losing a client. Because
Exactly.
if you're not working with me, you're not meant to be.
Exactly.
And I overserve. So you can't ever say you didn't get what you bargained for the money that you came to me with. And if you did come to me with all of those isms and schisms, I am better off without you.
Yeah, and that's the thing about family. When you do business with family, that's where you get. I was like, okay, yeah. So that's where my downfall was. But that I have recuperated from that. And
because you know it's always expected that you're just going to do it for free just because
you keep your child home until you can come on in and pay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, trust me, I have great friends. I go out to lunch with you every day. You want to go out to lunch? Yeah, girl. And I will send you your bill for your daughter. I don't care how much you hang with me. Here's your bill. That's why I literally, and I can tell you this has been consistent from the time that I opened my business. When I had the facilities up until now, I've only always averaged about maybe 2 Black clients. Two clients who look like me. And 2 clients who probably knew me outside of the time that they come in here and work. Why? Because I'm not the hookup queen. Don't come to me for the hookup because you're not going to get it. I don't care who you are. There's nothing on the back end for me.
It's Friendship Academy, and although my director don't have a background with childcare, she has a background in human resources, and so it's like she's on paperwork, and that's one thing with childcare workers we fell at that with the paperwork and the things that go beyond in the classroom. And so I've learned so much. It's like now I'm well-rounded and just ready to go now. It's just that one break that I'm like, okay, now location is like, just pray hard for me. It's like I said, I know I have faith in myself. I don't know. Sometimes I get discouraged because I know I sometimes I think I'm thinking bigger than I should, but then I thank God that I am, because that's what I want.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. You just have to stand by your brand.
Yeah.
Stand by your brand, because it's important that you understand. You take the stance that, you know what, I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to bend on what I know I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to allow people to box me in.
Exactly.
I'm not going to minimize the integrity of my business. And I'm not going to cater to, everybody else's idea of what it should be like, how much it should cost, and where I should have it. Because if I listen to people, there are people who also even, I've had people down through the years who try to tell me where I'm supposed to live, what I'm supposed to do with, where I'm supposed to put my business, and what I'm, and who I should have working with me and how I should do it. And I'm like, wait a minute, are you doing this or am I doing this? So I had to, but with me, I don't, I'm the type of person, I'll listen to you all day long.
Yeah.
But it's going in one ear and out the other, and I'm hearing the peanuts, womp, 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 because I'm going to do what I know I'm supposed to do, because I've never governed myself off of the backs of what I've done it, probably as a teenager, back in the day when I used to not, when I, had low, I don't even know if I really had low self-esteem, but I used to think that I had to please people. But when I grew and learned, I ain't even thinking about that. I'm going to be about what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
It's just time for you to come. You got to come out of the shell, which is our topic next week is coming out. Child, we got, because that's what all of us have to do.
Okay.
You have to not be afraid. You have to come out. It is time to come out. And that's basically, there's no more hiding, no more making excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'm working on it. No, you're not. You're home chilling. You watching TV, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you cooking your fried chicken and mashed potatoes, and you going to bed that night. You making sure your kids get to bed. You wake up the next morning, you go to work, and you're doing it all over again. But are you really taking hours out of your day and working on building the business and making it better?
Yeah.
And the answer to the question I can tell you is no, because I am even guilty, and I even had to fuss at myself. I had to tell myself off this morning, why are you still in the bed? Because this morning was not supposed to be a day that I stayed in the bed. I was in my pajamas all day, but I had to come downstairs and work. When I finally came down to work, I looked at the clock. I was like, I can't believe it's that late. And it was a whole lot of stuff that I couldn't do because I stayed in the bed because I was up late last night with my mind being distracted on something that I couldn't do anything about. So instead of going to sleep, I'm up like, oh no, what am I gonna do about it? Oh no, can't do nothing about it. You lay in the bed 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning thinking about it. Why are you thinking about it? So by the time I fall asleep, I sleep through the next day, and I'm like, I missed a lot of my morning stuff and had to cram.
Yeah.
And when I get off here, I have to work because of what I didn't get done today. Yeah. And that's my fault. So you have to hold yourself accountable and say, listen, get up and do something. You have to do something every day for your business. If the day goes by and you've done absolutely nothing for your business, shame on you, because you're only wasting time, and we don't have it to waste it.
Yeah, true.
That time is accelerated, honey. You're going to mess around here and get trampled by the person who's coming to sow more seed. Read Amos chapter 9:13. You're going to get trampled because we're living in an accelerated time between sowing and reaping. By the time you sow it, it's coming up. And if you ain't there, if you ain't ready and pulling up and sowing, the salmon come and you're going to get ran over. As the church say, you're going to get ran over.
Oh, yeah.
So, all righty. Sharon, she's still praying? I didn't call Sharon name a lot tonight. I guess Sharon said, well, I don't know why I'm calling my name so much tonight. I don't know why I'm feeling you tonight. You all right?
I'm good.
You got your stuff together?
Oh, yeah.
You done refreshed and rebooted? You
Yeah,
read
because I have my mission statement. It's something else. What is mission statement or vision statement? I have both of those.
Uh-huh.
I have my logo, which I had somebody to do. I've been had it for over a year.
You got your slogan?
Yes. Elegant dining designed by your taste. I have it.
All right, girl. So,
So
yeah.
my big issue is because I research stuff literally every day, but my big thing is advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
That's my big issue.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna make a note of that. I'm gonna bring some extra stuff for advertisement onto next week's thing.
Okay, we will.
And help you with some information for that. What's your
about the freebies? Remember you talking about the freebies? I am what I did was I went to Hobby Lobby Monday because I took off Monday. I had two places. So I went to Hobby Lobby, bought 2 free cake boxes, and one I'm gonna make a cheesecake and take to this guy that helped me at the bank. Out of all the banks I went to, he the only one helped me, although he couldn't help me, but he was the only one that went the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to surprise him and take him a cheesecake with thank you card in the envelope with my business card in it, and just drop it off, leave it. I'm taking one to the sheriff's department on my job.
Girl, that's a big old freebies. I want a freebie.
And the girl,
that's a good freebie. What y'all talking about? I want a freebie.
Oh, I don't, and it know me. I don't have a problem with that, but I had to beat myself in the head because I went the other day because I got the boxes, I got all the stuff except I went and got the graham crackers to make the crust, and it's just hit me. do they do they sell graham cracker crumbs? Stupid. I Googled it, and apparently I just was not paying attention when I was in Walmart. I just picked up the graham crackers. I said, that's a lot of work. If by buying the graham cracker crumbs, that could save me a lot of time and work. So, I'm learning every day. I'm learning.
Yeah. You evolve, Sharon, you evolving. That's what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought about when I saw it. Okay, very good. So yeah, I'm doing a lot.
And
Yeah, I'm gonna come up with a few. I actually have written some things down, but I want to research them based on your demographics. So I'm gonna do a little legwork for you,
Okay.
and help you figure out some ideas there as far as your advertising is concerned. Michelle, what are your stumbles?
I think going into where I want to go to Orlando, I know things are different, such as we have the Early Learning Coalition. They have something called, well, now I learned that early learning has moved there. They used to have Forest C, but now it's early learning. And of course, their requirements are a little bit different. My biggest stumble is I'm now in the transition of renewing my directors and renewing my CDA all at the same time. I didn't realize I had to renew my CDA. That means I've already taken my directors. But on top of that, I need to take 40 more 4.0 credit CEUs, which is pretty much 32 hours. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So in doing that, I'm just going to renew my CDA, which will pretty much be all of those hours. And of course, $300, almost $400. So, which they take installments. So that's a good thing. I wanted to do it online because it's more convenient. If I do it on a Saturday, it's either in Deltona or in Flagler for 5 Saturdays, which this is what I usually do. But the next class is in March. If I do it online, it's like I can take it whenever I pay for the class. So that's where I'm stuck at. And in the business, even to open up, which I know that I can still do whatever I have to do. And by that time by the time I'm done, boom, I'll be ready in the door. But yeah, just researching what I need to do and getting these classes done.
Have you ever tutored?
I haven't. I did after school before. I did after school when I did home daycare. I did after school and I did before school and I did during the day.
So you're basically, your main thing is early learning, like kids who may be, like learning how to read, or maybe even, this is a thought because I'm looking at a skill set. Because you're an educator, what you can do is take a skill set, and even if it's just a preliminary thing for a period of time, or for, like for right now while you're getting your license and stuff together, this is a way that you can generate some funding. We have been talking about this, about how our skill sets can fund our vision.
Yeah.
And if you put together, this is me thinking because I don't do this, but if I were, in your position and I could, teach kids, because I ain't teaching nobody. I can barely do what Medea say, reading, writing, arithmetic.
Now look, I'm not smarter than a 5th grader now.
Let me tell Katie's mom. Let me give you an example. Katie's mother, that's all she does. She left her job at the school system to become a private tutor. She figured out how she could use her expertise just to work with kids who had learning disabilities, who had certain problems. She has a way of connecting. She brings home over $4,000 a week doing just that.
I want to quit.
Busy. She's so busy that she's working sometimes till 10:30 at night.
Wow.
And some of them are via Skype. So my point was, I'm not trying to fill you up like that. It could be something that you get into for later as an extension. But for right now, what about going on Facebook Live and say, you know what, if you have a child who's struggling with reading, and I know testing is coming up for blah, 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 blah. want to do something to further prepare them. I have a package and it's for a limited time. And I just want to talk to you about some of the success stories I had and blah, blah, blah. Have a nice little chat, put together a little video, a couple of little skins and advertisement. And you can draw probably about, you can just say, well, I only have limited space. I can only take about 5 students because I'm doing this as I'm getting ready to open Michelle's Academy and blah, blah, blah in Orlando. And for right now, I'm offering something because I feel that there's a need. I've been getting an unction that there's a need for some people who want their kid to blah, 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 or to flourish, la, la, la. I'm offering tutoring sessions for, I don't know what the going rate is in Daytona, but here people pay $60 to $90 an hour for tutoring. So if it's like 35, 40, 50, I don't know what it is there for tutoring per hour, but find you a competitive rate. You could generate an extra, $300 or $400 a week just by doing a limited amount of kids to prepare them or to like help them, their reading get to the next level for a period of time. It's for a limited time, limited space. If you're interested, I only have 5 spaces available, but I feel the unction to pour into some young minds. That's how you put a skill set to work to generate a little bit of funding for your business. Okay. And that way, that $400 that you think about, you sweating bullets about, you can pay for it by offering some tutoring.
Yes.
And that tutoring could be an off-branch of Michelle's Academy.
Off-branch of Michelle's Academy. It's Michelle's Academy and tutoring service. Michelle's Academy and after-school care. And aftercare, if you want to come to aftercare and have tutoring, it's an extra cost for tutoring.
Yep. Oh, good idea. Good idea.
I'm telling you, with me, I'm like that man on the movie Beautiful Mind. I get an idea. I start seeing. I'm like, oh wow, that can make some money. Oh, people need that. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Oh, somebody will come to me. I just want to know how to put blah 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 together. Oh, I'm gonna start consulting. That's exactly what I did. So I added and branched onto my work where I do music industry consulting. I can sit down and talk to you about how to put your brand together and where to go and how to put I just had a counseling session the other day. And I'll sit with a person and I'll do a counseling session with them about their brand and for their music industry, la, la, la. And about $200 or $300 later, they walked out of my office. And I've given them a wealth of information and connections and numbers and databases and everything else. But that's a skill set. It's skills that I have, and I'm putting them to work. I'm telling you, everything that we need, God gave it to us. We don't use it. We want to go and punch somebody else's clock and give them all of our time and just let all of our brain cells melt away. The devil is a liar. I am not that one. I love being able to do what I love to do and not have to get up and
feel like you.
I don't want to get up and go and clock in for nobody. I want to stay home when I want to stay home.
Oh yeah.
I gotta chill. Me and Karen order our groceries online. We just got a box of organic vegetables and fruits today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I order all my groceries online. I go to the grocery store.
Okay.
Everything comes from Costco. I did all of our grocery shopping in one day. Costco, Aldi, and Publix. Everything arrived. And then we got our fruits and vegetables fresh out of the ground. Carried to wash the spinach 3 or 4 times tonight before she cooked it. It was fresh too. It was so good. So much better than the junk we get out of the store. Freshly grown, locally grown, organic, non-genetically modified.
Yeah, see, and Kayla was like, look, she told me about the broccoli. I said, look here, we don't buy the broccoli. Now you need to go to Faye House to get the
fresh head of broccoli. You didn't know what broccoli was.
We got frozen broccoli.
What's the head of broccoli? I'm like, really?
Oh, that's all she like now. Oh, you go. I said, look.
Because we roasted. What Karen roasted in the oven. She fell in love with it.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, look at that little tiny bit of broccoli. Look, I'm gonna go buy a bag of frozen broccoli. We got 5, 6 in this household.
It's not the same.
I know.
But y'all have an Aldi. Aldi sells their vegetables are organic and they're freshly grown and and it's cheaper. It's much cheaper than Publix.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right, well, I'm going to stop this recording. Thank you all for joining us.